Some more Cobalt action coming at you right now. So what we're gonna be doing this time, I don't know if I really specified, but with the 2.6 pulley, the intake temps get really hot. Any Cobalt guys will know what I'm talking about. The intake temps on a dyno pool can get up to like 150 just in one gear. So you can imagine what it's like when you're beating the crap out of it all the time. And so what I wanna do, instead of doing like an ice box or a bigger intercooler, I just wanna experiment and try to do a interchiller setup. I've been doing a little research on them and seeing that some of them, you know, they have like bypasses and stuff, so you can do track mode to where you can have it eliminate the dash evaporator so it doesn't leak on the track and whatnot. I'm not worried about doing any of that complicated stuff, and some of the universal kits I've been looking at look like they just cut into the low side and add that way, so that's what I'm gonna be doing here. So, got this hooked up right now just to make sure that everything works. Got an evaporator here with my low side tied in, coming in and out of this. And right now I'm about to run it just to make sure that it actually cools the way that I want it to, and to see if I'm gonna have to do something different other than what I'm thinking of. So here we go, I'm gonna pump it up and see what happens. All right, so I know it's gonna be a little tough to hear me because of this terrible exhaust leak I need to fix, but for now, it's loud. But anyway, I got it all hooked up, got it charged up. I'm not really sure how much I should be putting into it, so I'm kind of guessing and looking at my numbers, my pressures, just to gauge what I should be putting in it. So I've been creeping up on it here, and right now, it is working. So if you look at the gauge here, it's coming down. It was about 65 a little earlier, so it's sitting around 50. I mean, I'm gonna try and get it as cold as I can without putting too much in it and having the pressures really high. Right now, if you look at the pressures, the low is at just under 30 and the high is just under 150. So the interior as well, you got it just above there, like 43. So everything seems to be functioning okay. Nothing's freezing at this point. It's not kicking off, it's still working. So this may just work the way you want it to. We are in the process of making the box, figuring out how we're gonna mount it, where we're gonna mount it, all that good stuff. So right now I got the bumper off the car so I can get in here. And there's a good amount of space in here, which is awesome. So I'm gonna be able to mount this pretty much no problem. So what I'm doing is taking the evaporator and figuring out how to mount it, and what I've come up with here. So basically it's gonna go in here like this, mount in here like that, and then I'm gonna build the box around it. It's kind of hard to hold the camera and show you too, but it's gonna sit in here just like that, and then my AC lines will have a U-turn, go back over here and into this hole here, up into the engine bay, where it'll junction into the original AC lines. So right now, I'm over here, got my measurements for the box, and now I'm in the process of getting it together so I can cut it and make it. So I bought some sheet metal from Home Depot, you know, nothing special, easy to get. Now I'm just taking some measurements so I can get my box going. I'm in the middle of making the box now. So far I have tigged up just this portion of it, and I'll explain why here. So this is gonna sit in here like this. The things I was trying to figure out is how to hold this thing in here, because obviously if it's just sitting in there, it's gonna rattle around and eventually it's probably gonna puncture somewhere. So I was trying to think of ways of how to hold this thing together. What I came up with is these little tabs here, and what I did is I put rubber on the back of them, and I'm gonna hold it on there, push them up against it and tack them on, and I'm gonna do the same for up here. And then for the sides and all the places that are touching down here, well, not only that, I want to bring this up a little bit so the water can flow through it, behind it, because that's the whole idea, so you can flow around it. And so I'm going to put rubber on each side, holding it here, and then just a few pieces here on the top and the bottom to space it off just a little bit so the water can get behind it. Then I'm going to put the top on, and the top where I'm going to have my water fittings here so the water can go through it. I think I explained it already that I was going to put tabs around the core to hold it in place. And so what I did is I took this rubber and I'm putting it on the barriers around the outside, so if and when it moves around, it's not gonna be rubbing up against the steel here. Not only that, those bottom pads are gonna lift it up a little bit off the bottom so water can flow behind it as well. And as you can see, I have these tabs welded in here with the same rubber that I use for these. And I'm just using black weather stripping adhesive to hold everything in place. I'm gonna have the 2 other tabs on the other side here. Once I put it down in there and let this stuff dry up, because right now, I just put it in there just now, waiting for it to set up and everything. Okay, here it is with it all. The tabs are welded in there. Well, they're tacked and not like fully welded, enough to hold it in there. And so, you know, now I can pick this thing up, put it upside down, you know, it ain't gonna move around. And like I said, it's well supported with all the rubber that I put around it on the feet, underneath of it, which you can't see, but in between everything. So it's well insulated. So I'm slacking on my filming a little bit here, but I figured I'd catch up while I'm thinking about it. So what I did with the top of the box here to cover the core is I took the full plate and hole sawed, or drilled holes the size of the core tubes here. And then as you can see, I took these little plates that I did another hole in and covered because it was a slot so that I could slide it over top of the tubes, and then put these little plates over top, and now I'm welding them together. With all the rubber inside of it and the solder and the aluminum here, I continuously, as soon as I'm done welding, I'm spraying it with water to keep it cold. And I'm doing this so that I don't melt any of the aluminum or the solder on the tubes on the core, and so I don't burn up the rubber that I also have inside the box. So
I'm gonna call it the Frit special.
The Franken box.
Yeah. So now we got the box fully welded up, got the water fittings on top, and around the holes I put ultra black to seal those off. I'm gonna let that dry overnight and water test it in the morning and see what we got.